when you start typing the calculation, so we start everything with an equals here, and that tells Excel that it has to do something after the equals, whether it's an actual calculation or retrieve data, etc. And if I start typing, and I'm going to scroll up when I do this because it'll go off the page. So if I start typing S, it brings up anything that matches, well, anything that starts with an S. And if I scroll through, you can see there's little icons that are slightly different. So I've got an FX, I've got a little exclamation mark FX, and I've got this little tag. Okay. The tags are named ranges, which are covered in another course, and then the FX are the functions. So if I want sum, I could have either scrolled through, or as I did here, I typed the U and it shortened the list. I can either double click or finish the word or use my arrow keys and then if I press enter, you can see what happens. Okay, so not so good there, but let's try that again. So I can press tab, that's the better one. Just going to try that again. I can use my arrow keys and tab, and that's the one that's just above the cap locks. I can double click. See, that works. The only one that doesn't work is the the enter, because that means you're moving out of the cell. Okay, so let's do that one more time, and I'm just going to tab, and then I get the syntax underneath. So if you want to try this out on your workbook, you can just add a few cells with numbers in, or just use the practice file from the downloads. And you can type in numbers or click on cells. I'm just going to type one cell here. Then I want my separator. So, and you can see I can't click on this number 2. I do have to type the comma to get the separator to go into number 2. Now you can see that the next position is active, and I can now select the next one. And I could put a comma to go to number 3, or I can close it all off by putting my closed bracket and then press enter. So that's a nice tool because I can do, there it is, standard deviation. Now when I've paused on it, and I do mean by highlighting it rather than with my mouse, so when it's highlighted blue, it does pop up with a help to just tell you, the little tooltip, just to say what it is. And as you've probably read in standard deviation, that this functions basically for compatibility with earlier versions. There is a new one, and that's why I have this little exclamation mark. So I've got these ones here, okay, that I could use. Or I could do counts, and I've got all my counts. And remember, just use the arrow keys to go through, or a single click. Double click is to select. And if I just use a count and double click, and then I'm on my value 1, and I can select. And at this point I can actually press enter, and it will automatically correct my not having a bracket by putting a bracket in. So that's a nice tool I'm just going to delete that. It's a nice tool just to help you out when you're typing your calculations using your functions.